Hello and welcome to Crime Watch Daily Updates. I'm your host, Anna Garcia. Halloween is supposed to be a night of scares, but once it's over, the decorations and the costumes go away. But for one family in Jacksonville, Florida, the horror never ended. Ashlee Rucker was in a relationship with a man named Chad Absher, and he had a history of abuse. Ashlee often came home with bruises and scratches on her body, but she never pressed charges against him. On October 31st, 2017, Chad was at Ashlee's apartment that she shared with her sister Lisa when a physical altercation occurred. It ended with Chad shooting Ashlee in the head and Lisa in the face, and it all happened in front of Ashlee's 9-year-old son and Lisa's 4-year-old. Ashlee died at the scene and Chad took off. He was eventually caught following a manhunt. Lisa was transported to a hospital where she underwent several surgeries to repair her facial injuries, and she survived to testify against Chad at his recent trial. On November 3rd of 2022, Chad was convicted of first-degree murder and attempted first-degree murder. He faces a mandatory sentence of life in prison. Let's take a look back at the case of a woman whose last day alive played out like its very own horror movie.
It's springtime in Jacksonville, Florida. Sisters Ashlee and Lisa Rucker are outside soaking up the sun when they spot a handsome neighbor across the street. His name is Chad Absher.
He was good. I liked him in the beginning. He had a lawn care company that I think he inherited from his dad.
Right away, there's an immediate connection between Chad and Ashlee. And in no time, the two begin dating and move in together. But when their one-year anniversary rolls around, Ashlee's family suspects her Prince Charming is anything but.
How did you first learn that he was abusive towards your daughter?
After numerous times of, how did that get on your eye? Why do you have two black eyes? I just figured it out. You could only run into so many doors and fall down so many stairs. That was her excuse. You know, I bumped myself on the door, opened the car door on me, and it don't work like that over and over again.
At one point, cops are called to Chad and Ashlee's home. In the police report, Ashlee claims she recently left Chad, and when she returned to collect her belongings, he pulled a knife on her. The officer at the scene writes, "I observed 2 lacerations on the victim's throat, which would be consistent with a knife blade being held there. I also observed multiple abrasions on different parts of the victim's body, right eye, back, right ankle." Police can't locate Chad at the time and tell Ashlee they'll do a patrol follow-up.
Why didn't she leave?
I don't know. She ran to Dad enough times, probably 30 times.
30 times she ran
Probably
to you.
30 times.
During an 18-month period, cops are called 2 times to Chad and Ashlee's home for incidents of domestic disturbance. And while the police reports state that officers noticed physical evidence of abuse on Ashlee's body, each time, Chad is not arrested. Authorities claim it was because Ashlee refused to write a police statement or press charges.
He brainwashed her and beat her down, made her know how ugly she was.
She's a pretty girl, though.
She's beautiful. Nobody would have her but him.
According to Ashlee's family, during the couple's 3-year relationship, Chad's violence towards Ashlee continued to escalate.
It's not going to get better.
It's not going to stop. They don't stop. There is no rehabilitation on these guys.
And even though Ashlee leaves Chad on numerous occasions, each time she returns.
I tried my best. I tried my best with her. And she wouldn't listen. She just wouldn't listen.
Did you ever pick up the phone and call this guy and say, "Keep your blanking hands off my daughter"?
And worse. I called him every name to try to antagonize him and intimidate him and make him come at me. I told him about his sorry self. He's a piece of, you know the rest, and he wouldn't approach me.
But Chad didn't seem to care if everyone knew that he beat his girlfriend. 30-year-old Ashlee Rucker is caught up in an abusive relationship with her boyfriend, 32-year-old Chad Absher.
Police had gone to the home more than once.
Yeah.
But Chad is never arrested, and Ashlee declines to press charges.
It's unreal, isn't it? It's like he valued that as a prize or a trophy. I don't know what's in his mind. But he's a sick man. I know he's a sick man.
Then Chad reportedly turns his rage towards Ashlee's family.
He had said, I'm killing everybody in this place.
And Ashlee's sister, Lisa, begins to believe his threats. Lisa claims Chad pulled out a gun and held it to her head. Lisa says Chad eventually calms down and puts the gun away. But when Lisa and Ashlee's father hears about it, he makes yet another plea to his oldest daughter.
What did you tell her?
I told her, as bad as he's beating you, the numerous times he's beating you, the next step you will be dead. And I actually said, as sure as I'm sitting in this chair, he's going to shoot you. He's already beat you all he can beat you, and he's going to shoot you.
Ashlee's father has a real reason to fear that Chad could shoot his daughter. Turns out Chad has taken aim at a woman before. One police report states Chad showed up to an ex-girlfriend's home in the pre-dawn hours and aimed an assault rifle at her bedroom and fired off several rounds. That time, Chad was arrested and convicted on stalking charges. He spends 3 years behind bars. But when he gets out of prison and meets Ashlee, the family claims he hadn't learned his lesson.
They're predators.
Yes, sir. They're predators. They keep it up. They don't stop. They might stop for a month or two. They go right back to it.
And he had a criminal record. Why was there no intervention by law enforcement?
We say that's a fumble by the police in my mind, because as I look and read about it, you're a convicted felon, you get caught with a firearm, you're going to jail.
And police definitely knew Chad had a gun and threatened Ashlee with it. It says so right here in a police report. The officer asks, has your partner ever threatened you with a weapon? And Ashlee responds, yes. Then a follow-up question. If yes, which weapon type? Ashlee answers, a gun. Which raises the million-dollar question, why wasn't Chad ever arrested for carrying a firearm as a convicted felon?
What happened here? How did this fall through the cracks?
They dropped the ball, had him with weapon, and he don't even get arrested.
Our producer reached out to the Jacksonville Sheriff's Department, and they told us this was a probation issue. Even though Chad was never arrested, Ashlee's dad does admit the cops warned his daughter about the immediate danger.
Even the police, numerous police, told her she's going to die. And listen to me. They told her, listen to me. You're going to die if you stay around this guy.
And maybe their warnings are starting to sink in. In the next few weeks, Ashlee musters up the courage to break up with Chad and get her own apartment with her sister Lisa and their children.
She didn't need that jerk. She was doing fantastic without him.
But then, like many victims of domestic violence, Ashlee reconnected with her abuser. Soon after moving into her new apartment, she allows Chad to come over.
How did he have this hold on her?
It's unbelievable. We wonder how people can abuse mentally and beat them down, but he just beat her down mentally.
At first, Chad appears to be on his best behavior, so Ashlee invites him over once again. It happens to be Halloween. Little do the sisters know that a real-life scary movie is about to play out, and they've just let the monster in the front door.
I knew it was going to happen. I just didn't know when.
And on this night, it's a party of 4, including Chad, Ashlee, Lisa, and her friend Lyle. But quickly, the festive night takes a dark turn when out of nowhere, Chad starts choking Ashlee. Lisa's friend immediately steps in and fists start flying. This time, Chad is on the losing end of the punches, but even with his ego and body badly bruised, Chad refuses to leave.
No, there's an altercation. I'm asking someone to leave. They will not get out of my apartment.
Okay, who's that, your boyfriend, your brother?
No, it's my sister's boyfriend.
Does anyone have any weapons and is drinking or drugs involved?
No.
All right, just send the next available officer out there. Call us back if anything changes, okay?
Okay, thank you.
But after hanging up with the 911 operator, Lisa found out there actually was a gun in the apartment. Earlier that evening, her sister Ashlee hid Chad's rifle behind a love seat after he started acting angry and erratic. Lisa's friend Lyle stepped outside after the fight, thinking the danger was over. But instead, it's a countdown to tragedy.
My sister is saying, he's got a gun, he's got a gun. When I saw him pull out the gun, I was thinking in my head, he's not really gonna shoot me. And then in a split second, that's all it took.
Chad opens fire, hitting both the girls in the back of the head.
It was like I was inside my own head, and I'm thinking, I'm dying. He just shot me.
In the back of the head.
Right. I could barely breathe because I was choking on my own blood.
It took 21 agonizing minutes for police to get there, all because Lisa had mistakenly told the 911 operator there was no gun in the apartment. Cops walk into a massacre. The two sisters are lying motionless in pools of their own blood. Their father is fast asleep a few miles away when the dreaded phone call comes in.
I remember if it was 3 or 4 in the morning, and I said, "Who the hell is that?" You really think you're in a bad dream, but you're not. You know that it's real. My older daughter, Ashlee, had been shot in the head. Lisa, she was shot in the head also.
Tragically, paramedics pronounce Ashlee dead at the scene, but Lisa, miraculously, she's somehow alive, but barely.
I blacked out again. When I came to the second time, my nephew and my son are running back and forth between me and my sister.
It's a heartbreaking scene. Ashlee and Lisa's 4- and 8-year-old boys witness their own mothers being gunned down.
When they're like, "Please don't die. Please don't die." And I told my son, "I'm okay. Mommy's okay." But the whole time in the back of my head, I'm saying, I'm dying. He's witnessing me dying.
Then Lisa recalls Chad's chilling threat to kill her family.
He's gonna kill my son. Then I start panicking. He's gonna kill the kids.
But little does she know, Chad has already left the scene. Lisa is rushed to the emergency room, and her father is right there by her side.
Got to the emergency room, and she was still alive, and it's the relief of a lifetime, but you're not out of the woods.
Lisa literally dodged a fatal bullet. It ricocheted off her skull, broke her jaw, and then came out of the left side of her face.
How close did he put the gun to the back of your head when he pulled the trigger?
I would say 8 to 10 foot away. Thankfully, his aim was a little off, and he didn't kill me.
Not only does Lisa live, but within a month of the shooting, she's walking and talking. She's still in therapy, but fighting her way to a full recovery. And Lisa's courage is on full display when she relives the night from hell for me.
I saw out of the corner of my eye, he pulls the gun from behind a love seat.
And what does he do with the gun?
And he pointed it at me and said, "So that's how it is, Lisa?" And I didn't even have time to respond. I mean, what kind of man shoots 2 girls in the back of their head?
Is she a walking miracle?
She's a walking miracle, 100%. I told her every day just how much I love her, and just hang in there. Your boy is here. You are here, and it is a miracle.
She's a miracle and Chad's worst nightmare.
I'm a victim witness.
That's right, Lisa will testify in court against the man who shot and killed her sister and tried to kill her.
He could have potentially killed us both. And I think fully at the time he thought he did. I'm literally bleeding out. I've got tons of blood around me. He probably thought, she's dead.
Right.
Because I wasn't conscious.
After a 2-day manhunt, Chad Absher is captured and charged with murder, attempted murder, and possession of a firearm by a convicted felon. A pretrial hearing is set for February 1st. Chad's father maintains his son is innocent, claiming Chad says the sisters attacked him and he was defending himself.
Right now, there's 2 families that's really been tore apart, and God's just got to be with us. That's all I can say at this point in time.
Chad Absher has pleaded not guilty, but even if he's convicted, it doesn't change the fact that Ashlee is gone and her sister will never be the same.
Will you ever heal completely?
I don't think so. Not mentally. Maybe physically. All the wounds will close, but mentally, I can't understand any of it. I don't know why. And I'll never know that why.
What do you say to other women out there who may be in abusive relationships?
It doesn't get better. It only gets worse.